colleagues. We are here in Harare to discuss migration issues and issues around legal identity and how it relates to free movement of persons. At the ECA, we have been part of this project and working on a component of the AU Free Movement of Persons Protocol and supporting it to see how it can facilitate the implementation of the AFCFTA. Nancy, you have been working a lot on issues of free movement. What are the basic tenets of the AU Free Movement of Persons Protocol?
It's really interesting when we talk about the tenets and the right of free movement, because we see a lot of movement in the right of entry, where a lot of member states are very much willing to sometimes even change their visa policies in order to ensure that there's a greater right of entry for Africans within the African continent. So that's the first one that we're seeing a lot of movement in. The second one is right of residence, and then finally right of establishment. As I think we can all say, right of residence is a bit harder to deal with when it comes to member states actually implementing the protocol itself, just because it requires a bit more policy organization, as well as ensuring that all stakeholders in the government as well as external stakeholders are at the table when we are building these solutions for right of residence. And then finally, there's right of establishment. Now, right of establishment is one that I personally believe might take a bit more time for full implementation. But we do see Rwanda being the leading country, the leading member state in terms of ensuring all three rights and even to the full extent of the right of establishment.
Yes, and you are right. We have seen quite some movement when it comes to right of entry, and since the adoption of the protocol, only 4 member states have ratified it. Yeah. And we have taken, it's almost like 7 years and there's no movement on the ratification area. What do you think are the issues that member states are raising for not ratifying the protocol?
Well, migration as it is, it's inevitable, it's relevant, and it's beneficial. But its governance is also a bit of a challenge that member states are sometimes a bit apprehensive, because Africa has over 85,000 kilometers of borders. Our capacities are not sufficient enough to manage it, so they have a bit of apprehension and concern, especially when it comes to security issues. Secondly, sometimes when we talk of free movement of persons, some of our member states have the impression that it's a violation of their sovereign borders, just entry and exit without any form of control, which is also a matter of concern for them. And I think the other issue is also the issue of residence and establishment, as you mentioned, and also the change of government. We need a better understanding of the whole phenomenon of migration. But in a situation where you have a series of changes in governments, different governments coming in, and there is no continuity of the understanding of migration, then it becomes a challenge, because I think we should understand that migration is not a problem to be solved. It's a human reality to be managed.
Absolutely, you are right. And we also bring in here issues of legal identity. To what extent can governments link these two to understand that you need to issue legal identity to a person to allow them to move across countries, even access basic rights within their countries?
I think the issue of legal identity is really closely linked and interconnected with safe, orderly, and regular migration. And I think that is another level that our governments have to understand clearly, that without the legal identity, it's difficult to achieve the SDG goal 10.7, that is safe, orderly, and regular migration. Legal identity 16.9 and 10.7 are closely linked if we have to achieve the SDG goals that are related to cross-border mobility and migration. So we have to make that very clear to our government and partners for that matter.